I have this little rule that's nice to follow, which is at all times, one of these three things should be true. Either I'm working out today, I worked out yesterday, or I'm working out tomorrow. It's almost like every other day. If one of those three things are always true, you're going to be more motivated to eat better. You're going to be on top of your game. You're going to feel better. You're going to stay motivated and do this for a very long time. Welcome to Only the Greatest Podcast. If you're feeling stuck and unsure what to do next in your fitness journey, we might be what you're looking for. My name is Philip. I own and operate OTG Fitness, which is a private personal training gym on the south side of Houston in Webster. I do this podcast every week with my best friend, Daryl. We've been friends since third grade and working out together ever since. Also joining us today will be Sean. He's the one that makes this podcast not only sound great, but look good as well. Our goal here is to help Houston make its way up the ladder of health and fitness. So if you're in the Houston area and ready to become the greatest version of yourself, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Today's episode should be short and sweet, right to the point. We're going to be talking about why frequency is more important than duration when it comes to getting in the gym. If you haven't heard last week's episode, it was number 112, talking about our personal training program. Be sure to check that out. It's kind of, in that episode, I break down just an overarching view, 30,000 foot, looking down view of our personal training program at OTG Fitness, how we do things, why we do it that way, why we think that it works, and kind of what you can expect when you become a client at OTG Fitness. And once again, today, talking about frequency over duration. So I have a few different points. I'm going to list them out real quickly, and then we will go into detail about each one. Number one, habit creation. Very important. Number two, it's easier to fit into your schedule. Number three, your focus and your intensity can only last so long. And the last one, as a beginner, you don't want to be overly sore. This is something that you want to do on a regular basis. And being super sore the next day because you did so much the previous day kind of kills your motivation. And we don't want that, right? So let's wrap back around, talk about habit creation real quick. In my opinion, and if you're listening to this, maybe you agree, anything you do only once or twice a week, you're never going to form a habit, right? You have to get that frequency up. Think about, if we look in the opposite direction, people that smoke, right? Cigarette smokers, I know smoking is not as popular as it once was, like when I was a kid and stuff like that. It was way more popular then. It's really gone downhill, which is a good thing for health, right? But people are like, why do you do it? Or even drinking, why do you do it? It's just a habit. Well, that's a habit in a negative direction. I want you to create a habit in a positive direction, right? I want you to say, why do you work out? It's just something that I do. Saying that when you ask a smoker, why do you smoke? It's just something that they do. So in this case, I want working out to be just something that you do. It is a part of your lifestyle. It is a habit that you have created. And again, if you're only doing it once a week, twice a week, you're never going to create any rhythm. You're never going to create a routine. It's never going to become a habit. And there's something that Brendon Burchard, I think is how you say his name. He's like a motivational speaker and stuff. He has this thing that he calls habit stacking. And I think that it has a great correlation in fitness. He talks about it more from like a productivity standpoint. When you're working on something, like one good habit leads to another. Same thing in your fitness and, health routine in general. When you do one good thing, exercise as an example, it automatically leads to the next good thing. So let's make working out a habit, and then eating well will also become a habit, right? Getting to sleep on time so you feel good tomorrow will also become a habit. And that motivational staircase going up and down. So one good thing leading to another, to another. Maybe right now, for example, you don't work out, so you don't feel good. You don't feel good, so you don't eat good. You don't eat good, so you don't feel good. And it's this never-ending cycle. But what I want to do is turn that around by creating good habits, right? So I want you to work out so you feel good, and you feel good so you eat good so you feel good so you work out more, right? So that's the direction that we want to move. And if you're only doing it once a week, twice a week, even if you're in there for 2 hours at a time, you're never going to create that that momentum that we need to really get results. So first and foremost, overarching thing is we have to create a habit, and that comes from higher frequency. Next, it's easier to fit in your schedule. If I tell you that you have to work out for 90 minutes, you have to drive to the gym, which takes another 15, and then you have to drive home. And, by the end of the day, it's like a 2-hour process. The likelihood of you actually doing it is pretty slim, right? So I'd much rather see you start with 10 minutes. Stan Efferding taught me this. If you don't know who Stan Efferding is, someone that I look up to in the industry, he does bodybuilding and powerlifting. So, maybe relatable to, if you're listening to this, maybe relatable to you, maybe not. But he talks about 10-minute walks. Instead of one 30-minute walk, how about 3 10 minutes? It's still a total of 30 minutes of walking in a day. But if we break it down into pieces, it's a lot easier to fit into your schedule. And same thing if we look at a week, right? So it's much easier to fit in 3 30-minute time slots than one 90-minute one, right? Because each day you probably have 30 to 45 minutes that you can fit something in. So I want to lower the barrier of entry of getting to the gym. So the shorter the time commitment is, the lower the barrier of entry. If you have a high time commitment, that just raised my barrier of entry. Now I have to scour my schedule. I have to figure out where can I fit this in. But if it's a shorter amount of time, I no longer have to do that. It's much easier to fit into my schedule, right? So that shorter time frame, if we can commit to it, get the frequency up, we'll build the habit. And now, again, we're moving in the right direction. Next, your focus and your intensity can only last so long before it kind of gives out. You probably experience this during your workday. You might even experience this doing things that you enjoy, but if it takes multiple hours, you don't even enjoy it anymore. Yeah, it's fun for the first 30 minutes or an hour, but then after that, it's not so fun anymore. One thing I can relate to this is, my girlfriend and I, Denver, we love to go to sporting events. But oftentimes I've noticed that, say we go to a baseball game or a basketball game, by the when you're driving, let's start over. When you're driving there, super fun, you're really looking forward to it. You first get there, it's all exciting and everything. But, 2.5, 3 hours into the game, it's like, oh man, you're kind of looking at your clock. Is it time to go yet? It's because your focus and that excitement only lasts so long. Well, it's the same thing in the gym. If you're expecting to be there for over an hour, that focus kind of falls off. And, focus, especially when you're getting started, is very important for, having good form, staying safe. All those things, matter when it comes to getting results over the long term. And then the intensity factor, you only have so much energy. If you have a 1.5 hour workout session, but in the first 45 minutes you were crushing it, and the next 45 minutes you're kind of like, lollygagging around. Well, you might as well have left after the first half, because that's when the real results happen. That's when the work was done, right? So with a shorter time frame, you can stay more focused and keep your intensity levels high. And if you are spending over an hour and a half in the gym, the likelihood of you actually doing hard focused work the entire time is probably pretty slim, right? So just commit to a shorter time frame so you can have focus and be intense during that whole time frame that you're there and you're committed to it. Last thing we'll cover, especially when you're getting started. If you've been working out for a long time, this might not apply to you, or it doesn't apply to you as much, that's for sure, because your body does acclimate over time. But when you're first getting started, if you do too much in one day, you can get so sore that you just lose all your motivation. And I never want to see that for someone. I want to see someone enjoy working out. I want to see them look forward to it. Yeah, I want you to feel it a little bit tomorrow, because then, you feel it enough to where you feel like you did something. You feel productive, right? And that's kind of that one good thing leads to another. You do one good thing, you feel good, leads to another good thing. So being a little sore is great, actually. There's really nothing to being sore, as far as I know scientifically, that says, you have to be sore to get results. That's not true. But feeling sore is that like mental edge that you did something. But if you're so sore that you can barely walk, you can barely move, you hate it, you don't want to go back next time when you're supposed to work out, that's not a good thing, right? So keep your volume under control. And what I mean by volume is total amount of work that you do, basically reps times sets times weight. It would be your volume. Excuse me. Don't commit to doing too much in any one day, right? Spread it out over multiple days throughout the week. And that's how you're going to get not only good results, but stay motivated, stay committed, and do this for a very long time. And the last thing that I'll cover here is, I'm talking about frequency being better than duration. What kind of frequency am I talking about? Well, it very much depends on the person. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, how much time do I have to give to this? How many days a week can I do something in the maybe 30 to 45 minute range? At OTG Fitness, we do your workouts are about 40 minutes. We found that seems to be a nice, good, sweet spot, and something that people can do on a regular basis, stay consistent, but also get a good amount of work done that needs to be done, each and every day. So we say the golden rule is at least 3 days a week. At least 3 days a week seems to be the point where people get results. We really like 4. 4 is my favorite. It's almost like every other day. I have this little rule that's nice to follow, which is at all times, one of these 3 things should be true. Either I'm working out today, I worked out yesterday, or I'm working out tomorrow. It's almost like every other day. If one of those 3 things are always true, you're going to be more motivated to eat better. You're going to be on top of your game. You're going to feel better. You're going to stay motivated and do this for a very long time. So at least 3. 4 is a really good number. 5, if you're an overachiever, go for 5. But other than that, make sure you take your rest. Rest days are important. 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range is really good. If you can only do 2, awesome. It's a great start, but you should strive to get to 3. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. We have multiple ways that we can make these plans work for you. Once again, at OTG, we do about 40-minute workouts. That seems to be a nice spot that you can get in everything that you need. And once again, at least 3 days a week seems to be the golden rule. So if you have questions, again, please do let me know. You can find us online on any social media platform, OTG Fitness, and we are happy to help you out. I'll see you guys next time.